Genesis chapter 50, verses 23 through 26. Vayar Yosef le'Ephraim b'nei Shileshim gam b'nei Machir ben Menashe yildu el birkei Yosef. And Joseph saw from Ephraim the children of a third generation, also the children of Machir, the son of Manasseh. They were born on Joseph's knees. He bounced them on his knees. He was a doting grandfather. This word birkei on his knees, it's the only time this word appears in this exact format anywhere in the entire Tanakh. Just some unrelated, irrelevant trivia for you. But however, this word shileshim, the third generation, is a very important word. Why is it written as it is? We all know that an ordinal number in Hebrew, it should be end in yud as opposed to this mem. What's up with that? So perhaps we can learn by seeing where this exact word appears elsewhere in this format in Tanakh. And we find that this exact word is only four other places: Exodus 25, Exodus 34:7, Numbers 14:18, and Deuteronomy 5:9. And all of them we find are places where God speaks of calling the iniquity of others into account for third or fourth generations. This third generation, shlishim, with a mem at the end. Perhaps our Holy One is telling us this is foreshadowing the great tragedy of slavery that befell the third and fourth generations after Yosef, that those grandchildren who were bouncing on his knee, that they were going to be enslaved in Egypt for 400 years to follow. This shileshim is also a very interesting word. The final mem is one of 16 letters in the Torah that is generally printed in a larger font. Razal and Midrash Rabbah and others try to connect this with the coming of the Messiah. Future reading for you all to study up on. Vayomer Yosef el Achav Anochi met Velohim Pakod Yivkod Etchem Ve'ela Etchem min haaretz hazot el haaretz asher nishba l'Avraham leYitzchak u'leYaakov. Joseph said to his brothers, I am dying, that God will definitely account for you, remember you. This word, Yivkod Etchem, Pakod Yivkod, we'll discuss it more in a minute. And God will bring you up from this land to the land that promised to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. And this important repetition in this pasuk, which also happens in the next sentence, it is this phrase, Pakod Yivkod. And what is so special about it? The Baal HaTurim, trying to explain that this actually means to be lacking. He uses this phrase to tell us of how long the enslavement will be in Egypt, that the decree can be averted by being a shorter time period. However, Targum Yonatan teaches us that this is a sign, it is a secret code of sorts. It is a secret code of sorts that in the future, how the Jews who were enslaved in Egypt will know that it is time for the escape, for the end, for the redemption from slavery. But you might wonder, how could it be a secret code if everybody knows it? It's no secret. Many of our scholars over the centuries have tried to explain a secret code known by all. However, Rabbi Yitzchak of Volozhin may be onto something. He says that the Jews who were slaves in Egypt, they would be able to identify the human who would be leading them from slavery. He says that yes, they would know, because it would not just be the mere mention of these words, pakod, pakadati, I will remember you and bring you free. No, rather, he tells us that there'll be a sign, there'll be contemporaneous occurrence of miracles with the saying of these words. What is the miracles that took place? Of course, we see the miracle. It was that Moses, who likely had developmental apraxia, great difficulty in speaking, yet he spoke it with a perfect fluency. He spoke it perfectly, unambiguously and clearly. Yes, that was the miracle. They knew that when Moses could pronounce this, that he was the one, that was the sign from God, that would be time for the redemption. Vayishba Yosef et bnei Yisrael lemor Pakod Yivkod Elohim Etchem Ve'elatim et atzmotai mizeh. And Joseph was moved to vow to the children of Israel, saying, God will definitely account for you, and you will bring my bones up from here. What does this mean, bring my bones up from here? Et atzmotai mizeh. Why is he asking him to do this? What is the meaning behind Joseph asking his bones to be brought from the land of Egypt? We have Rabbi James Jacobson Mazos teaching us a wonderful teaching that the word bones, atzmotai, can also be read as essence, atzmut. He's teaching us, of course, that in a beautiful explanation that rather than one or the other, bringing either the bones or the essence, that the word refers to both, that the redemption comes, that true redemption entails the dual liberation of both body, atzamut, and spirit, atzmut. And to whom we can ask in this important phrase when Joseph was vowing, he was vowing to Bnei Israel. Who was he talking to? We can read this in the narrow sense that who he was talking to was the children of Israel. He was the sons and grandsons of Jacob, of Israel. Perhaps he was speaking in a narrow sense. However, perhaps we can also read this continuing with Rabbi Mazel's teaching that Joseph was exhorting us, each of us today, that only through the redemption of both body and soul together do we achieve our full liberation, do we achieve our freedom from the narrowness of our own Mitzrayim, the communication from the generations past. Vayama Yosef ben 110 shanim, vayachantu oto, vayisem ba'aron b'Mitzrayim. And Joseph died at 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was placed in a coffin in Egypt. And we learn from the Dadas name, telling us that it's well known that whenever the Torah commences a paragraph with the word Vayashev, that they settled, that there was always some kind of disaster that follows. But perhaps the Dadas name was not so clear, that it's perhaps not so well known of this 13th century Tosafot of Franco-German origin. So we can look back at Genesis 37:1 and this line here preceding Joseph's death, and referring to also in Kings and other places as well that there's some horrible thing about to happen. However, we can look at Joseph's death in other ways besides a horrible way. We can learn from Rabbanit Sharon Rimon, who does a compare and contrast with the death of Jacob, which was earlier in this Parsha in chapter 47, alongside the comparison with the death of Joseph, which happens here. It's perfect for every high school English teacher, your perfect compare and contrast homework assignment. And our Rabbanit Rimon finds that there are at least 7 similarities as well as some differences. And she finds amongst these, she finds the similarity that both Jacob and Joseph's deaths, their deathbed exhortations, they include reminding others of redemption, reminding that God is with you, that God will redeem you, and that we remember that their deathbed exhortations that even on the eve what seems to be the darkest of moments, that they are on the precipice of 400 years of slavery, that across many generations, perhaps Jacob and Joseph are telling us to continue, perhaps they're telling us to continue to do the holy work towards the future redemption of us all. Chazak, chazak, v'nitchazek. Strength, strength, we strengthen each other together.